What's up, guys? I don't normally do videos, and I wasn't sure whether I should do it live or just upload it. I'm 90% sure I've, like, ADD, so I'm constantly, when I work on things, I have to be doing something else, like watching TV or watching YouTube or Netflix. And even when I'm watching Netflix, I have to be doing something else, like maybe watching two videos at once, or sculpting, or drawing, or looking at things on websites. I constantly have to be doing two things at once. It's useful when you have two monitors like I do. But yeah, anyways, doing a video on Instagram. I posted a picture of these tentacles. Well, I mean, not tentacles, the claws. They normally come like this and they don't move at all, but I made them posable so you could close them and open them for like walking or whatever, or holding people. These aren't what I'm gonna be using. I have the bendable LED metal tentacles coming. I had done it before with the custom, but I accidentally bought cheap ones and I messed them up, and I took these from that old custom, just temporary, because I could reuse these. I'm not going to use that part. I'm going to drill into the back here. But yeah, I decided to make these posable because it's, I don't want to say easy, but it's easier to do with this. Yeah, anyways, so what you kind of need is, I guess, something to cut paper clips, and oops, I just dropped that. These aren't like regular paper clips. These are paper clips, but they have like the little, it's not gonna focus on that, but it's a plastic casing around it, so it makes them a little thicker. So that's what you're gonna need. And then to start off, you could drill through there'll be like a sculpted indent there, and you could drill through it on each joint. And I used a 3/64 bit, the second small one, to do that. You could go bigger if you want, but I wouldn't suggest doing it, because I'll show you later on, once you start cutting, you don't want that big of a hole with what you're left with to make a joint. Yeah, I haven't been posting that much updates on my customs, because I just keep making more. Like, I have a double jointed Psylocke I haven't finished yet, and I gave her a wrist pivot and stuff like that. This is what the Hellboy hand is looking like. It's not really focusing on it. There's the Lady Deadpool there with her double jointed arms. I need to finish the red. There's I want to call it like a Reaver custom, I guess. He's like a Mayfix, not Mayfix, or I forget the company, maybe Mayfix arm from that Batman thing. That was interesting to do. And obviously the Hellboy in the back, and then this one, the Scorpion, I just started going back and doing. I had a little more sculpt, and I went over it with the black, and I changed out the tail. The other one was from old Toy Biz, where it has like a shooting thing on the end. That was too big and funky, so I made this one, and it's not done yet, but that looks pretty good with that spike. And funny, I made it out of a Spider-Man head, and one of the prongs from the head of was it Death's Head too. But anyway, that works pretty good. It's a little, I have to pose it certain ways to get him to stand up because it's back heavy because of this bendable tail. But yeah. And other stuff on my desk. Oh yeah. This I haven't shown it off anywhere yet. It's like a New Mutants cable. I sculpted his ear and that side of the face because the original had like a giant hole there to hold his earpiece and different hand and stuff. I like that one from the custom where he's not custom, the comic, where he's literally just all hairy in his 90s form, just literally all hairy, and he has pouches and stuff all over him. And I also added like another strap on the back because if you ever had this cable, you notice his pouches just like they lean off of him, so this keeps them together. Yeah. Anyways, that's for another time. So what you also need is good sharp X-Acto knife, and you'll start off, like I said, drilling out those holes. It's kind of awkward doing on camera. Drilling out those holes, and then what you need to start with, you see there's a line there on each one. You don't want to just go straight in. You can, to get it out, you can do that, but I suggest cutting up into it, because that makes like in the cut it makes like a concave area, more of a triangle, but it makes a concave area in this part of the joint, and it makes it easier when they bend it. It's like a rounded cut rather than a flat, and that would require doing more work to the joint afterwards, and we don't want that. Hopefully it'll focus. So yeah, you just cut in there pretty deep and watch you don't stab yourself like I've been doing. Or just test if this light works. Yeah, it's not gonna work. So yeah, I cut in there, and then I'll flip it over. It'll be harder to see. I wanted to have music playing in the back while I have it in my ear, just so it's not like an awkward silence, but I didn't want to get demonetized, even though all my videos do, if I upload it to YouTube in the future. Actually, screw it. I'll just do that. While that opens up.
I bust that nigga just like that. Ain't no none of them niggas can't fuck what? Nigga, you could never fuck with me, my nigga. Yeah. What? That nigga do?
Alright.
I'm the one man army ain't showing. I never been took out. I keep
I'll turn this down.
I drop flags like Crosby dropping babies. Enough to make a nigga go crazy. In the G building.
Alright, then after you cut both sides of this, then you'll stick your blade along with that line there. Cut it all the way up. Try to get a single cut. You can fix it up later after it's apart. But you want a single cut so that it doesn't mess with the joint afterwards, so it's a clean joint that doesn't fall apart. Once you've done that side, then you can do the other. If you're used to this stuff, you probably get it, but I'd like to emphasize watching how you cut, because they always say cut away from yourself, but you can never make a useful cut cutting away from yourself. So there's always a risk of cutting yourself. So now you could just basically start breaking apart what you cut. You could slice more if you need to, but most of it will be cleanup work afterwards. So there we basically have it. This one I basically messed up one. So that's kind of what it looks like, or somewhat looks like when it's done. So I can say I messed up a tiny bit. I rushed it, but then you could clean some of that up. You could take some off from in there so that when the joint closes, it could close farther. And then a little bit from the top to make it right here. Just watch how close you get to the hole. Alright, let's see how that's a little rounder. And then you can use regular sandpaper, but this is one of the most useful things you can have for customizing. It's a low grit sandpaper, like sponge. It works good for like getting around curves and odd shapes and stuff. But you want to run that over the top, kind of smooth down the jagged edges. This also works good for doling. If you ever had this, I doled it down a little bit, but this part was a lot shinier than the matte plastic, the softer plastic that came here. It's good for doling down glossy surfaces and stuff like that. Or getting the plastic rough before you add a primer or a paint on it. Some people use higher grits. I sometimes do, and then or obviously sanding sculpt, epoxy sculpt and stuff. Sometimes you might use a heavier grit, and then you use this to smooth it out so it looks nicer. So that's pretty much done. You're not going to be seeing that in there that much. I'm just going to make sure it's flat. I wasn't sure whether to go live with this or just upload a video, because I wouldn't go live on YouTube because I only have like 53 subscribers and I have more on Instagram, but I wasn't sure if we could save the videos from Instagram. Now you want to go over and kind of remember which way it's positioned when you cut off. I think it's kind of like that. It angles down and then it's flat on this side. Or you could go against these, yeah. So just remember which way it's positioned. And then we want to clean up in there. Once I get that out, you'll see it's kind of concave or convex, I forget the difference. So it's more like it'll be better on the joint when it rotates, and it's not like a flat 90-degree surface. That's not that bad. You won't see that when it's on the joint. Just a little bit will give some friction to hold the hose in place. Then again, with this one, you could go over it with the sand sponge. Alright. And this is back to why I said I wouldn't suggest going bigger than the, what did I say, 3/64. Because see, if you go bigger to the part where you can fit like a toothpick in, you get really close to the what's left of the joint, and you need all that you can get. See, so they'll go in there, and I'll pose. Alright, now what we need to do is kind of get an idea of how much of this paper clip we'll need. Just about that. And after I clip this, I'll put a dab of glue on each side to kind of keep it in. It won't necessarily fall out, but get a little clip. It might be too much, but we can clip it off after. I just noticed some I need to cut off more. Alrighty. Keep having to make sure I'm lined up, because I have a pretty ghetto setup to hold this. I'm holding my iPhone. I literally taped it to one of my bendy lamps, and that's what's holding it up. So there we go. You stick it through the hole. And we can see it sticks out a teeny bit, so I'll push that back out gently with the paper clip. I'd probably suggest getting better clippers than the ones I have. I'm literally using the inside of some wire cutters. If you have like, not tweezers, but sharp wire cutters, they'll be better, because it's hard to cut in there like that. But I misplaced mine. Alright. Nice. And now I just need to trim off. Like I said, my paper clips, they have a plastic coating, and sometimes when you cut them with the wire cutters, it doesn't cut through it, it just like stretches the plastic coating and leaves it. So I just got rid of that. And that goes down. You could even, if you want to make it bend more, you could shave some of that off in there. But since it's a Garrett, it's a little harder. Alrighty. And like I said, a little dab of glue. Or you could even put a little sculpt, but it's not really worth it. Then I wipe it off my finger just to get it in. Or you could wipe it off with a tool like a smart person, but I got glue in my hands anyways. Alright, so that'll dry while I'm doing it. But you got the idea. Now I'll just do this part, which is a little different, but generally the same. I'm not going to show all, obviously, because this has taken, what, 20 minutes so far. And when I'm watching videos and stuff, it takes longer. So I'll just do one portion and you'll get the idea, because they're all, it's rinse and repeat, basically. So like I said, cut, I'm not sure the angle, like maybe 45 degree, or 145. Just cut straight up in, don't cut straight in. And then after that, you can start changing your angle. I'll try to do it a little neater this time. Last time I rushed it. I'm just trying to stay in focus, that's why. And you also want to make sure you don't cut past that. You line up on each side to see where you cut to. And like I said, try to keep one single cut. You could clean it up afterwards. Just glue it to my hand. Then you can kind of bend it with your hand and clean up while you're bending it off. Try not to stretch it off as easy, just cut it off because you ruin the hole if you stretch it off. There, I got it. That one is a little better. You'll notice the hole is kind of on the other top joint. It was more centered up at the top. On this one, it'll be centered towards the back. And like I said, that one wasn't as good, but better than the last one. Like I said, you'll clean this up. Alright, and then see that was more rounded, and now I could clean up that with the sand block. And the good thing about these, they last a while. I had this almost a year now. They do start to go, like when you use them more, they get loose and start falling apart. But they're not that hard to find at like Ace Hardware or something like that. And they do obviously have bigger grits in the block. I had one before, but I guess they tend to wear out easier since it's a higher grit. And lower grits, it's kind of good for anything basically. Whether it, like I said, matting a gloss finish or cleaning up jagged edges. Alright, I'm just getting that more flush. Alright, so that looks pretty good, a lot better than what it started as. Now we'll go towards the phalange. It doesn't look bad, just clean up that. I don't know if you can tell, see how, like I said, it's like concave or convex inside there. It's not flat. That one wasn't bad. It came out better than the last one. It's not that much to clean up in there actually. I just want to make this flush. Crap, doing off camera again. Get this to fit. Looking pretty good. Alright, now I'm gonna add my so jagged edge. Alright, now I'm gonna clip my baby clip. Also, you could get the, if you have plastic coatings on yours, you could get those a little scuffed. It's a glue could stick. Obviously, this one will be longer than the top one because it's wider at the base. Just get an idea. Also, I lost the first one. These like to fly off. Get cut. Line it up. Remember, you could cut again if it's too long, but if it's too short, you can't. So always cut more than you need, unless you got exact numbers. And if it's not going in right away, if you could pinch it with pliers, but I wouldn't suggest doing it hard because you could squeeze too hard and ruin the joint inside if the paperclip shoves it. This one I pretty much cut it perfectly, the paperclip. I'll put glue on it after, but I'll show you the joint. See that? A lot better than static, unbendable thing. I've seen a lot of people, they've done that same thing I'm gonna do. Like, it started with like Action Figure Toronto. He made an awesome custom Doc Ock before this guy came out, and then a few others did it. What I'm gonna do is what my buddy McToyver did. He took, what's it called, styrene, and he put styrene tubing over the USB LED lights, so it makes it look thicker and more closer to what the original looked like with those cut off pieces. The bendable lights, it'll be similar to that size, a little thicker, but similar to that size, and they kind of look too thin for this guy. Of course, you could just always go with that if you don't want to do that much work, but I kind of like to go the extra mile. So yeah, that's done. I'll just add the glue like I said, and after that, that'll probably be pretty much it for the video. Now that's done, I'll just wipe the glue off. So if you like this kind of stuff, want me to do more videos again, you could leave a comment, either whether it's on my Instagram where I might post this, or on YouTube if I post it there. Leave me a comment on either, or shoot me a message. I usually read all of them. So yeah, that looks nice. And yeah, that's, like I said, I'm only doing one here on the video, but your outcome should look something like this. Yep. And that's a ball joint stuck. So yeah. Thanks, guys. just make a pose for a thumbnail. Alright, thanks guys. See you there.